seen her online with her pearls and her fake fur. I bet she knows fake fur when she sees it. Just saying. Now, I happen to have tracked this unsavory individual to her new grotesque rancher in Ocala. She no longer lives in this district. But she does take money, quite a lot of money, from never-Trump candidates and think tanks. And this is what has enabled Annie Marie Delgado to send out a mailer, a fake mailer, a mailer that purported to be from and affiliated with our dear beloved president, giving Laura Loomer, of all people, an F grade when it came to supporting Donald Trump. This, as everyone in this room knows, is an absurd and outrageous lie. And Ms. Delgado has been sent not one but two cease and desist letters by the president's own lawyers. Yet she continues to take money from Republicans, the kind of Republicans who will do anything and spend anything to get in the way of truly America First candidates like Laura Elizabeth Loomer. This fake mailer was sent in print to 100,000 Palm Beach County homes. And Laura's campaign has no idea, but estimates that this could have cost in excess of $200,000. That money came from someone. Somebody paid that. And that's what I want to communicate to you this evening. No, it's not George Soros. It's worse than that. It's worse than that. Thank you. That's what I want to communicate to you this evening. Now, the people you're about to hear from are far too restrained to name names like I will. So I'm saving them the trouble. But we are going to find out who paid for this wretched trollop's emails and mail-outs. And they will pay. Third, and most, I wouldn't like to say, Lincoln Project. You didn't hear it from me. Thirdly, and to my mind, as a journalist, as somebody who respects the institution, the Fourth Estate, the role of journalism in American public life, and in the West, the importance of the free press, something I've dedicated my life to, as frustrated as I can be with my fellow journalists sometimes. Perhaps the most frustrating and horrifying of all, a local CBS affiliate on Sunday published 48 hours before the vote happened 100% returns. They gave the results of this election. Isn't that lucky? Isn't it nice for them that they have a time machine in the office? Just goes to show how well-funded liberals are. We can't afford time machines, but apparently they can. Now, this local CBS affiliate reported 100% precinct return, something that we probably can't do for another 4 days. These results suggested, indeed no, they stated, that Laura had received 2% of the vote. She'd received fewer votes than a stripper. Sorry, I'm compelled to say, what were we supposed to say about, exotic dance.
And MILO and Roger Stone have not got their second.
Fewer votes.
No, he did.
This candidate.
MILO got a second. Roger Stone
The
did a
exotic
second.
dancer, now I'm sure that the person in question is a perfectly lovely woman. 2%. of the vote for Laura Loomer. There's a word for this. Do you know what it is?
Bullshit! Thank you!
Second degree.
Voter suppression. Because if you see that your candidate, the candidate you support, has somehow received a mere 2% of the votes, what are you likely to do? Vote for somebody with a better chance.
Get a second degree.
It is grotesque. And even more grotesque than that is that it took 12 hours and extraordinary efforts from our candidates' lawyers speaking to senior CBS executives until those results were removed from the internet. Now you'll find out in a second from Karen whether that was successful. But it's remarkable, isn't it? Now these, by the way, I just want to point out, before I introduce our main speakers, these are just the 3 we know about. And it's the support of the people in this room, whether it's online, retweeting because Laura can't, because I can't, because Gavin can't, because Roger can't, or donating money that paid for the legal representation that eventually forced CBS to take down their fake numbers. It is the people in this room that made that possible, and I personally thank you.
Bravo.
BYOB!
I've never seen anything like that, even in the last election.
Proud of your boy.
But apparently it does happen. And Laura, before winning her primary, had already attracted that kind of attention. That's the candidate that you've placed your faith in. And you made the right decision.
Yeah!
Now, one last thing. The Daily Beast. Now, the Daily Beast is a grotesque and disreputable website that has spent a decade or more with dedicated staff ridiculing and criticizing and trying to sort of take the wind out of conservative activists and Republican candidates. But even the Daily Beast was forced last week to acknowledge the extraordinary journey that Laura Loomer has been on.
Warrior.
And even they, couched in cynicism, were forced to admit that Laura Loomer, the activist, has built a machine and emerged and evolved and blossomed as a candidate into something that they could never have foreseen, and into somebody who was highly likely to win the nomination. I can't tell you, I don't know. Karen knows.
Fake news.
Before I introduce Karen, I just want to let you know that she is a truly extraordinary woman. She's a long-time Republican operative and strategist. She will be introducing a man who is best... How would I summarize Roger Stone, except simply to say that he did nothing wrong.
That's a weekday slogan.
Don't know what else to say on that subject. But as far as Karen is concerned, she...
Proud boys.
Thank you. That just cost me my YouTube channel. Karen had the honor of serving Donald Trump in the last cycle as his chief strategist in Florida, and she was then swept up into Trump Tower, and she was asked to bring her insights in voter engagement into the campaign nationally. She's one of the people who won it for Trump. And we're very lucky even to hear from her this evening, and Laura will, of course, explain to you later how lucky she is to have her. I'll let her say more. The results now, we're in a position to call them, along with many other people online. I know you're all Googling. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the most enthusiastic fashion we possibly can in welcoming Karen Giorno.
see me over this?
Where's Karen?
Make a noise. Oh, it's really
It's too far?
Where is it at?
Okay, I know this actually clashes with my dress, so I just wanted to say because it's fabulous. Martine, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's a, you know, you can't do it. It's kind of like a rally, mini rally. That's my hair. That's my hair. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is my responsibility and my distinct honor to share the results of Florida's 21st District Republican primary, which we are now in a position to call. But FloridaPolitics.com, with 60% of precincts reporting, has Laura at 42% of the vote.
Yeah!
And it's going to be higher. We've got a winner in the house, ladies and gentlemen. To give speeches that are written out, MILO. But this isn't an emotional night for me. No. It's been a long journey, over a year with Laura, so I might get a little teary-eyed. Is that okay? My voice might crack a little. Okay. Because there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this one. And like in 2016, where we bled on the battlefield, we did it again this time. And I see a lot of familiar faces out there from 2016, but I also know that the majority of you in here bled for Laura too. So thank you. So I'm going to read now, so I don't miss a thing. As I've gotten to know Laura, and as we together built a formidable campaign operation, I've seen something in her beyond the courage and intelligence we all know she possesses. I've watched as Laura has blossomed, not only into a viable political candidate, but into someone I will be proud to help usher into Congress. That's an applause line. I have watched as she has carefully examined her political positions, tested the assumptions on which they rest, and arrive at a coherent, persuasive set of policies and beliefs. I've watched as she has learned the art of strategy and practical skills necessary to campaign effectively. And I have no doubt that she will use all of these new skills and aptitudes when in November it becomes her time to govern and her chance to shape this nation's laws. And she alone is the reason that this seat here in Florida's 21st District is at last in play. President Trump has put the word out, that he wants this seat flipped. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that in Laura Loomer, we have found a woman who can actually do it. President Trump, Laura has a keen understanding of what ordinary voters care about. Just like President Trump, Laura has an uncanny ability to confound her critics and pursue her objectives. And just like the president, Laura will stop at absolutely nothing until she achieves her goals. Laura is a unique young woman. She possesses qualities very few others do. Love her or hate her, but we are under no illusions here that our candidate, like the president, evokes strong opinions in people. Am I wrong? Laura Loomer was born for a time such as this. Especially in our nation's history, when it can often seem as though the very existence of our constitutional republic is at stake. Laura isn't like other politicians. Does this sound familiar to you? Okay, just want to make sure we're hitting the theme here. She is not motivated by power or money. You can't tempt her with bright lights, bamboozle her with prestige, or dazzle her with dollar signs. She cares. She really cares. I love that. She's got heart. Who said that? She's got heart. I'm going to leave that to Roger Stone to talk about, so I don't want to steal his line. So it falls to me to share with you, based on my decades of experience in Republican politics, that here in this room with this candidate, you've got the real deal on your hands. That's another applause line. She is a warrior. She's our warrior. She is a striver. She is fearless. She has a keen sense of public duty. And she, ladies and gentlemen, she is the future of the Republican Party. Even if some of my cherished colleagues don't know it yet. Laura has the experience and maturity of women twice her age. Just saying. She has accomplished more at the age of 27 than most people do in a lifetime. And guess what? She's just getting started. Thank you, Paula. She has built the team, ladies and gentlemen. She has raised the money. She has proven to you that she can take the fight to the enemy. Now we need your help to close the deal. This is a D+9 district. We're not under any illusions about the tough battle that we're going to face. But this fight, I'm telling you right now, this fight is winnable. Internal and external polling show that liberal Democrats do not identify with the hard swing to the radical left that their party has taken, especially when it comes to law and order and our police. We stand with our police. Laura stands with the police. And I want to thank the Sheriff's Department here tonight who graciously gave their time to secure this venue and our candidate. Lois Frankel is vulnerable. On this and other issues, there is room to sway voters. There is a path to victory. Laura and I are walking that path, and we urge you to join us on it.
She's walking it, not you.
And now it is my very great pleasure and honor to introduce the man who will bring Laura out on stage. Her dear friend and mine, one of the most iconic
Yes.
and effective Republican strategists and activists of his generation, and one that I have learned so much from.
He did nothing wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Roger Stone.
Lois Frankel may not know that yet, but she's about to be Loomered. Laura Loomer is going to be President Donald Trump's Congresswoman. You are a part of history tonight.
Yes.
When he first ran for president, John F. Kennedy called for a new generation of leaders. If you look to the U.S. Congress, if you even look to the Republican side, isn't it odd that it's only a small group of courageous, brave rebels who have taken on the Adam Schiffs and the Congressman Jerry Nadler and the Eric Swalwell and Ted Deutsch and the rest of these radical socialists?
And the Antifa.
Why does it fall to Matt Gaetz, who was proud to endorse Laura Loomer, Jim Jordan, and Mark Meadows when he was there, and Lee Selden from Long Island, Andy Biggs? Where's the Republican leadership? Where are they?
In the basement.
We are going to send that band of rebels reinforcements from this district. Laura Loomer is one of the most extraordinary women I have ever met, because as I have pointed out numerous times in public forums, she has bigger balls than most of the men I know. This is a woman of exceptional courage, a woman of exceptional foresight, a woman with extraordinary knowledge, particularly on international issues, someone who is fearless in her defense of America, someone who will stand up for our constitutional freedoms. And the timing, ladies and gentlemen, could not be better.
We need more.
Here's why. We face the darkest days America has ever seen. We have a socialist revolution that is well-funded, well-financed, well-organized in our streets. We have one of our two major political parties, once the party of John F. Kennedy and Harry Truman, that will not stand up to the evil of Islamic terrorism, that will not stand up for our men and women in uniform, whether they're serving their country in the military or on the front lines of our police and sheriff's departments. What happened to the old Democratic Party? I'll tell you what, it is a socialist party, and socialism is half the way to communism. What we are seeing going on in our country today is nothing less than an epic struggle between light and dark, between good and evil, between the godly and the godless. Such a time calls for a champion. Such a time calls for someone of extraordinary courage and energy. I give you the Joan of Arc of the conservative movement.
Wow.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
What an amazing night. This is just absolutely astonishing. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody. I'm truly overwhelmed. I'm truly touched. Thank you, Roger, for that incredible introduction. Roger Stone has been subjected to hell on earth at the hands of the corrupt Democrat deep state, but somehow he has always been there for me. That's the true measure of a man's character, his selflessness under pressure. So thank you, Roger. I love you. So I just got a phone call an hour before the polls closed from a Washington, D.C. area code. And I almost didn't take the call because I figured, it's probably just one of those NRCC robocalls asking me for money. But something told me to answer the call. It was Ronna McDaniel, chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, and she was calling to acknowledge the extraordinary success of our campaign so far. She said everybody in DC is watching us tonight, and she graciously called me a political rock star. And a change agent for the Republican Party. She told me that she's looking forward to meeting me. Incredible, right?
Not surprising.
For much of my life before running for public office, I was a lone wolf, traveling the country wherever the threat was, armed with only a mobile phone, my pink selfie stick, and my voice exposing elected officials, hypocritical Hollywood celebrity left-wing activists, corrupt public servants, and organizations that are wolves posing in sheep's clothing. It was an unfortunate but necessary proprietary tactic that I created in order to cut through the blatant and intentional lies and deception being perpetuated against the American people and orchestrated by sinister, bad actors. We couldn't rely on the mainstream media or globalist-leaning politicians to tell the truth. In fact, they were, and they continue, to be part of the problem. I was so effective that my technique came to be known as getting loomered, an expression now in common usage. And I'm proud to have led the charge to hold those people accountable. In fact, I created my brand around it, and one could argue that I was pretty darn successful at it, maybe just a little too successful. Just ask big tech and the people driving the cancel culture movement. However, to succeed in running for Congress, a new kind of success for me requires very different tactics. It also requires building a tremendously good team of people and support systems. I know this isn't a lone wolf operation any longer. I can no longer do it alone. So it's important that I pay tribute tonight to some of the people who encouraged me to run for office, who believe in my candidacy, and who now make up my core campaign team. I wouldn't be here tonight without Karen Giorno. I love you, Karen.
It's awesome.
And I really do love her. I really have grown so close to Karen, and we talk every single day, and a little too much every single day. The first person I speak to in the morning, the last person I speak to before going to bed. Karen is not only my chief strategist, senior political advisor, and a mentor to me, but she's also my greatest friend and ally. Karen is best known as Donald Trump's secret weapon in the 2016 election. She walked in Florida for candidate Donald J. Trump after winning 66 out of 67 counties and beating 15 other candidates, which arguably paved the way for Donald Trump to become the Republican presidential nominee. Trump loves Karen, and he's called her his killer. He even promoted Karen to his top team at Trump Tower to lead his national voter engagement efforts to ensure the same tactics she applied to in Florida were utilized in every single swing state. And now, she's mine. Now Karen is my killer. And I couldn't be more honored or grateful to have her overseeing my campaign and our efforts to flip District 21 red.
Yes.
I must also thank my campaign staff, a dedicated army of tireless warriors, including Nivea Lucero, Jody Schwartz, Christina Minna, Shane Corey, Michael Land, LJ Foley, Bill Lima, Linda Stock, Julie Reichwein, Bill Lichter, and Heidi Martinez. And there are so many of you who make up our grassroots volunteer army. I wish I could name each and every individual on that list, but if I did, this speech would be about 2 hours long, because just look, there's so many of you. But I want each and every one of you to know how incredibly thankful and grateful I am for your hard work and your selfless dedication. You are the backbone of my campaign, and I hope you know how much I love all of you.
I love you.
I also need to thank Steve Alembic, Bill Diamond, Mark Goldman, Cherna Moskowitz and her family, Gay Gaines, Eric Javits, Joe Korf, Dr. Bob Shillman, Louis Topper, Rob Barrett, and Rob Palachi. I'd also like to thank Meredith O'Rourke. We have a special guest in the audience tonight, Sid Dinerstein, the former party chairman. I'd like to thank Sid for his support, and as well as National Committee Man Peter Feynman. Thank you. Here tonight, we are also lucky to have the president's official sketch artist, Keith Tomchek, who has flown in to be with us all the way from Las Vegas. As you can see, we're on an amazing journey together, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why this victory tonight isn't just mine to celebrate. It belongs to every one of you in this room. Some who couldn't make it here tonight, and all those who believe in saving our precious republic.
Yes.
Each of you has, in some way, contributed to this historic occasion, and I truly want to thank you for that.
Cheers.
Yourself a round of applause. I've also been blessed to receive the endorsements of conservative luminaries such as Judge Jeanine Pirro, Pete Hegseth, Michelle Malkin, Bo Snerdley, and Congressman Matt Gaetz and Paul Gosar. I've also been endorsed by RPO Chairman Joe Gruters. I'm grateful for their kind words, their wise counsel, and their confidence in me. I also want to acknowledge our Gold Star family members who are in the audience this evening. Nothing humbles me like support from the loved ones of our fallen service members, heroes who gave their lives and supported the freedoms that we all hold so dear. They are freedoms which, with your help in my own way, I'm dedicating my life tonight to fighting to protect. Over the past year, Karen and I have carefully assembled an elite lineup of campaign staff and battle-tested grassroots volunteers, and we customized a campaign infrastructure that will sustain the weight of the task ahead of us. To remove a political elitist who has been in office for over 30 years and is committed to fundamentally changing the United States of America to resemble Venezuela, China, or Cuba. I'm going to need all of you to win in November. I don't know if you know this, but I'm the youngest first-time Jewish Republican female candidate running for Congress in the United States. And when I win my race in November, I'll be the youngest woman ever elected to the United States Congress. We're also here celebrating our victory in President Trump and Melania Trump's home district. When elected, I will not only become your Congresswoman, but I will also become the sitting President of the United States Congresswoman. This is a sacred honor and a civic duty that I take very seriously. On top of all of that, tonight, it just so happens to be the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which granted women in the United States the right to vote. Today, President Trump pardoned Susan B. Anthony, proving what I've always believed, which is that well-behaved women never make history. You don't get credit until you're dead. So yes, indeed, it's worth noting and remembering that we are truly making history tonight. In the aftermath of 9/11, I was compelled to speak out against radical Islamic terrorism. And because I had the audacity to use my voice and my growing conservative brand, I was banned from pretty much every social media platform, demonized, and my reputation was sullied. When this happened, I contacted the mainstream media and members of Congress, including my own representative, Lois Frankel. I asked Lois Frankel for help. I was extremely persistent, as you can imagine. But unfortunately, I never received a call back, or an acknowledgement, or even a courtesy reply. That's when it hit me. At that point, I already was a well-known investigative journalist, and I had the phone numbers of some of the most powerful people in politics and media in this country. Yet I couldn't get any assistance. So I asked myself one day, what on earth would the everyday average American, the everyday Floridian do if the same exact thing happened to them? And that's when I realized that if I wanted to see change, I would have to create that change. And so, to put my money where my mouth is, I'm running for Congress. Emotional.
We've got your back.
So you see, I started out on this epic journey thanks to a battle initiated by the social media tech tyrants, the globalists, and the Washington swamp creatures, who never thought that a young investigative journalist would effectively challenge the status quo or question their methodical and deliberate motives to fundamentally shift America to the far left.
That's right, we're gonna get them bastards.
You're gonna lead the way.
This battle was raging well before President Trump was elected, but thanks to Donald Trump and those of us who rallied behind the Trump MAGA doctrine, the curtain has been pulled wide open on these people. This battle, folks, is the first of many because we are in a war. It is a war between those of us who believe in free expression, the right of every American to share his or her views, whatever they may be, and the forces of far-left progressivism in the Democrat Party and Silicon Valley who want to win by censoring and intimidating the rest of us into silence.
We won't be intimidated.
You know, they really thought that they could silence me by taking away my social media, suffocating my voice, and denying me access to essential goods and services. They almost did.
You're trending on Twitter.
But there was always something nagging at me, insisting at me. Something in the back of my head telling me that I had to do something about the threats to free speech in this country. That was my motivation for running for office. Because if they can do it to me, they can do it to you.
Yes.
They're doing it to us.
And they are. They're already doing it. They're already doing it to you. They're even doing it to the President of the United States of America. And we have got to stop them. Corporate America doesn't care. Political elites don't care. The media doesn't care. But guess what? The American people care, and so do I. You heard, even the telecoms industry jumped into the war and fighting alongside the big tech tyrants. After raising over $1 million since I made my announcement a little over a year ago on August 2nd, while being deplatformed on social media, Xfinity Comcast decided 72 hours before our primary to flag and ban my fundraising text messages that were simply endorsing my announcements from Roger Stone and Matt Gaetz.
Look at us now.
Everyone we sent a text to who uses Xfinity Comcast received a warning about my message that it was dangerous content. How ridiculous. Faced with a tide of negative press coverage, Comcast is now claiming it was all just a technical glitch. Just a glitch.
Like CBS.
We're afraid of you, Laura.
But rest assured, they said that they will investigate it so it doesn't happen again. But you know, the damage has already been done.
They're full of shit anyway.
I guess it's just a coincidence that Comcast has donated to my opponent, Lois Frankel's campaign for 4 cycles in a row. You know, and I guess it's just another coincidence that Lois Frankel owns stock in Comcast. So many coincidences. You know, and I guess it's just another one of those little pesky coincidences that the regional office for Comcast is located right here in West Palm Beach, where I just happen to be running for Congress. Just a coincidence.
Shut them down. Make them pay, Laura. Tax them up.
Am I crazy for thinking that this is just another example of electoral interference from woke big business? Oh, and by the way, the CEO of Comcast, he was the first executive to throw a mega fundraiser for Joe Biden. So many coincidences, so many glitches.
Interference.
Can you hear me? Is that a glitch?
We hear you.
Look, these people are not going to stop until we beat them back for good, with warriors in Congress who know how to fight and how to win. And I'm one of those warriors.
This squad has nothing on Laura.
Without the First Amendment, none of the other issues matters. The purpose of censorship from the media, big tech, and all the other Democrat institutions in this country is to restrict the scope of allowable discussion to a tiny battlefield in which only the left can win. We can't let them. Free expression is a core American value that underpins our entire civilization. Take that away, and our country will no longer be the America that sent a man into space or which has produced economic, cultural, and technological marvels. Without free speech, there is no United States of America, no shining example of what is possible when aspiration meets ingenuity and American exceptionalism. Free speech has been the engine of progress throughout history of Western civilization. Free speech is what makes the American dream possible.
Yes.
And this is the American dream.
Yes, it is.
They said that this was impossible. They said I couldn't win.
They don't know you.
This is the American dream.
President Loomer.
Without the ability to hold the powerful to account, corruption and nepotism take hold. You all know that I'm in favor of a little light civil disobedience. Just a little.
Yeah.
Right? Just a little. I have a little history of exercising my God-given right to free expression. Let me be clear. I do not believe in violence or in inciting or glorifying it. I do not condone these things. The power of the people comes through our ability to peacefully assemble and to make the right decision at the ballot box, which all of you did today. Violence has never been the way we solve disagreements in America, at least not until recently. In countries where people can't express themselves, they pick up weapons to get their points across instead.
But we're okay with that.
FAFO. Second Amendment.
We have the guns.
At the root of so much of the deep dysfunction in our nation today is the damage done to free expression by authoritarianism from the progressive left in media, academia, and Silicon Valley. So much damage. Our nation was founded on individual rights and liberties bestowed upon us by our Creator, not by our government or any elected official or any unelected public health officer. Talking about you, Fauci. And especially not some California tech executives, am I right? My fear for America today is that the age of reason and truth and logic is being pushed aside for tyrannical purposes by power-hungry autocrats from the political left. They are trying to unwrite the Constitution. They are trying to destroy the Constitution and undermine our republic.
This is America. Yeah.
The question we have to ask ourselves is this: is America, the great experiment, over? The forces of darkness would like you to think so, but you and I, we're gonna prove them wrong. So I hope you're ready for the fight, because I can't do this without you. Recently on his podcast, Senator Ted Cruz acknowledged that big tech censorship is the biggest threat to American democracy today. He's right. And you know, it's really nice to hear the boys in the Republican Party finally catching up with what I've been saying for years.
The Republican Party.
Many of you are entrepreneurs and business owners, but thanks to coronavirus, much of your business is now migrating online. Losing your company could easily throw your families into a financial crisis. By violating your First Amendment freedoms, big tech is toying not only with your reputations, but with your livelihoods too. Getting banned by Twitter and Facebook isn't just an inconvenience. It could mean the difference between life and death. During the Chinese coronavirus pandemic, it's on Twitter, where the president, our local sheriff's office, Governor Ron DeSantis, and other authorities shared information and advice. I think that Senator Cruz needs friends in Congress who agree with him and who know how to bring the fight to Silicon Valley's doorstep. For decades now, powerful multinational technology companies have been in the business of designing products that insinuate their way into your most intimate feelings and relationships, and then they never let you go. Right up until they ban you for having the wrong political opinions, of course. Tonight, I am asking you to help me ensure that no American need ever fear censorship again just for holding the wrong views.
Wake up and quit.
are already banned, I will be your voice in Congress, and I will fight for you. I want to tell you that I won't just fight in Washington on issues of national or personal importance. It's not all about free speech and big tech for me. I'm also committed to local issues that concern Floridians. We live here, so we already know that Palm Beach is a magical place in Florida, the most beautiful state in the Union. It's not like the rest of the world. Most of our nation's biggest cities are mismanaged by Democrat mayors, overseen by Democrat governors, so they're dangerous and dirty, with taxes squandered on silly woke initiatives instead of law and order and decent public services. Here, where we live in Palm Beach County, it isn't like that. We have a proper feeling of community here. When I take a morning walk along the beach, I know the faces that are smiling and waving at me. The local deputies know my name and the names of hundreds of other residents here. People here treat each other with respect. We raise our kids right. Where we live, it's a little glimpse into how the world used to be, when it was a kinder, happier place.
American dream. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
This sense of place is something that the rest of the world has lost. But here in Florida's 21st district, we still have it. And we've got to cherish it, and we have got to hold on to it. That means putting a stop to uncontrolled mass immigration that is rapidly changing America's demographic and electoral makeup, and always in the Democrats' favor, right? Imagine how that works. So I support President Trump in calling for an end to illegal immigration. Unfortunately, one thing we don't have any longer here in Palm Beach County is effective representation.
About to change.
My opponent, Lois Frankel, has spent her entire life in politics. She is a 3-decade career politician, a failed career politician. But recently, she has performed a cynical hard left turn in order to become a mentor to the squad. At the same time, Lois Frankel is bought and paid for by special interests in Washington. The people of this district are no longer represented by Lois Frankel at all, but instead by Nancy Pelosi and Silicon Valley. Just as big tech outsources jobs to foreign workers, Lois Frankel outsources her vote to Nancy Pelosi, proxy voting whichever way the Democrat machine tells her to do. Under the guise of COVID-19, Frankel is helping to enforce draconian restrictions on your freedoms that would even raise eyebrows in Cuba. At the behest of a party whose ideology has surged leftward into a synchronicity with Marxist jihadists from Black Lives Matter, George Soros, radical globalist agendas, and Antifa.
The only good commie, the dead commie. Don't make them good again.
COVID-19
Is a pandemic. COVID-19 is a scam. There is no such thing. Thank you.
It is bullshit.
COVID-19. So, you know, this is free speech in America, the greatest country in the world, right? It's what makes us great. Under the guise of COVID-19, COVID has made our life very stressful, complicated, and confusing for American citizens. But we have a responsibility to look ahead to how life will be when things return to normal, and the sort of changes that we want to make in the people who represent us. As I crisscross the district and I listen to everyday Americans talking about how COVID is affecting their lives and how these restrictions have crippled their jobs and impacted their families, Lois Frankel stays home, more concerned with demonizing our police and praising rioters, looters, vandals, and thieves. She would rather your business be shut down and give violent lawlessness a platform than for you to be able to pay your bills, send your kids to school, and enjoy your community parks. I really hate that you guys had to wear masks to get into the room tonight.
We didn't. We didn't. Don't worry about it. We didn't wear you, Laura. You know us. We don't do that.
Because we're rebels.
That's right.
Because we're fighters.
Yes.
And when your mouth is covered, you can't speak freely.
That's right.
Wearing a mask is uncomfortable, it's alienating, and it's even bad for your health, let's be honest. Lois Frankel does not work for the American people nor the voters of District 21. And as her long career winds to a close, my opponent is showing signs of fatigue at just the time we need a renewed sense of energy and purpose. She is absent at just the moment we most need an advocate. She is aloof, just as we crave someone who will roll up their sleeves and get to work.
That's our Laura.
She shows moral indifference when we need someone who is dedicated and hands-on.
She brought us you.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, she did.
Welcome home, Laura.
Last year, Lois Frankel voted to impeach President Trump on the basis of the most flimsy, preposterous, and partisan articles of impeachment that have ever been issued against a duly elected president.
Nasty ass bitch.
It was another sign to us that Frankel is a creature of the swamp who has lost sight of her constituents' needs and priorities.
Shonda Frank.
The majority of my opponent's time is spent, of course, in Washington, D.C., serving as one of Nancy Pelosi's most loyal and trusted lieutenants. Frankel might show up to a fancy ballroom dinner with her donors and friends, but when was the last time any of us saw Lois Frankel in our own district?
Nope.
Photo op.
It's why she's called Lazy Lois.
Lady saw her on the corner with oranges.
When Donald Trump was committing federal aid in the wake of last year's Category 5 Hurricane Dorian, Frankel was nowhere to be found.
Go on.
She was in
So,
the basement with
a win
Joe.
against Lois Frankel is a win against the Democrat Party nationally.
Right, take
It
America
will
back.
hurt them to lose her.
Take America back. That's what we're doing.
From all the way here, down here in Florida, we have the power this November to give congressional Democrats a black eye, and a black eye that they deserve. As you know, Lois Frankel ran unopposed in 2018. But we are not allowing Lazy Lois that same luxury now in 2020. We are taking her on, and we are going to beat her. I will have two jobs in Congress. The first is to protect your freedoms by fighting big tech and fighting for what will keep America great and keep America safe. I believe in law and order, and I think that you do too. Free speech and law and order are fundamental necessities of a civilized country, and the Democrats are trying to strip them away. The second is to represent the interests of the people who live here in District 21. I don't want to sound controversial because you know how much I hate controversy.
It's the truth, though.
But I promise, and I pledge to you here today, that I do not work for the Republican Party leadership. I do not work for the establishment or the Washington elitists. Like President Trump, I'm not going to Washington to make friends, and I am not bought and paid for by special interests or party bosses. I am not one of them. I am one of you. My opponents, Lois Frankel, won't even take your calls unless you're a Democrat who's already aligned to her values and her interests. But my door will be open to everyone. Whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or somebody who's just fed up with politics entirely, I am going to represent everyone here in Florida's 21st District, not just the people who agree with me. So whether you're thinking of voting for me or not, or even if you don't vote at all, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's happening to you and your family. I want to hear your concerns for the future, and I will listen to your ideas. In November, I offer voters a straightforward choice. You can either vote for more of the same old lazy Lois and for the party of domestic terrorists from Antifa, race-baiting thugs from Black Lives Matter, and big tech tyrants who want to silence you by force, take your guns, and destroy your liberties. Or you can vote for someone propelled into politics not for personal gain, but by a moral urgency and sincerity. Someone who believes in the Bill of Rights and who will fight for it every day in Congress. And that's me. We need Republicans in Congress who can meet the new challenges of the 21st century. I look forward to representing the interest of you, my constituents, in Washington. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Thank you for nominating me to represent the Republican Party in November. I'm going to make you glad you did. And I'm going to honor the commitment you have made to me by giving Lois Frankel the electoral fight of her life. And then, by the grace of God, and with your help, I'm going to win. One last thing. We can enjoy this evening, and we should. But we have just 11 weeks until the election in November. So we have our work cut out for us. Therefore, let me finish with a warning. The DCCC tonight, they know that Lois Frankel is in trouble. Lois Frankel knows that she's in trouble. Because this supposedly deep blue state that I supposedly had no way in hell of even having the Republican nomination is now in play. Make no mistake, there will be a fresh smear campaign about me every day from my opponent and her allies from tonight until Election Day. You know what Nancy Pelosi always says, take it to the bank.
She takes it to the bar.
Lois Frankel will use her powerful army of surrogates and her bag carriers from organizations like CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, the DNC, and a galaxy of George Soros-funded activist groups. You're gonna hear a lot of terrible things about me. Some of them you'll recognize from half a decade of fake news. And I'm sure that they're gonna dream up some new lies about me too. But we are ready, we are expecting it, we are anticipating their every slander, their every libel, and we are not afraid. So I say, bring it on. And I urge you in this room to remember the last nationally popular candidate subjected to a daily onslaught of lies, half-truths, and vicious media commentary. I'm talking, of course, about my future constituent, the President of the United States. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless the United